Hello and welcome to AI, the cool stuff. Yes, so this week, how's everyone doing? Has anyone found out anything cool this week?
Well, I actually got to speak to my chat GPT thing
All right,
yesterday. I didn't know
Excellent.
you could talk to it.
yeah. I go into ChatGPT as well because it's. I still think it's because Claude brought out a new version. But every time they bring out a new version, they said, "Oh, ChatGPT is dead," because Claude's brought out this fantastic new version. But it's to me, it's very nuanced. I mean, it's ChatGPT and probably even Gemini will probably do most things most people want.
I put into the chat about an event which is happening on Monday, July the 1st. Transform your expertise into a passive income via the power of AI. I think that might be quite interesting. Have a look. If it's you might learn something. I'm certainly going to have a look at it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're learning all the time. Anyway, let's go around the room and quickly introduce ourselves for the video. And so, Shirley, tell us about you, and we'll just mention as well about what you've already mentioned what you're using ChatGPT for, but what's your main use of AI if you use it at all?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Shirley, I work in health and wellness. I help people to look after their good health and also help them to earn an extra income. Now, I've been told I need to be more, what shall I say, visible on social media. And I always think that's not something that I want to do. However, I signed up with the e-business learning. It's a sort of free support that's been government funded. And the idea is to use digital platforms to make yourself more visible or to grow your business. So I've been introduced to ChatGPT using that. But with the new version, I can actually speak to it rather than write the questions in. So that's my assignment for the next couple of weeks, to learn to interrogate it by asking it questions or asking it to teach me to do things. So I think that's quite fun.
Yeah. I think the ideal thing I've been looking for is something that will actually write your posts, create videos and pictures and post them for you without you doing anything at all. And then you just pay them a few dollars a month, and then you don't. So that would be ideal, wouldn't it? And some of them are getting close. I mean, I was looking at one the other day that's that will make up posts. You do have to authorize each one, but it's at least it sort of does write it in the background and said, hey, you haven't posted for a couple of days, do you want me to post this? So if you say yes, it will post it. But anyway, Michael.
I'm working very closely with Steffi. I think she's away today, she told me, but she's very good. And I prefer to use her than all the other things because she will give you half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, a video tutorial. I learned so much from her. And I just mentioned at the top of the chat there, this is a webinar that's coming out next. Have a look at it. You might learn something. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's all about. And it's all on Meetup. I promote these type of webinars on Meetup and LinkedIn. So it's very interesting. I'm learning quite a lot.
Okay, brilliant. Jane.
Hi there. So we do IT solutions, small and medium-sized businesses, focusing on working with Linux and open source and just about everything else as well, actually. So I got my free tokens from Steffi's website last week. Website's brilliant. I haven't had time enough to play with it to its full extent, but I'm getting very supportive mails from Steffi as well. So that's really good. The first of the month's not a good day for me to do a webinar, Michael, but hopefully it'll be recorded and perhaps I can catch up on it. I use Pi quite a lot. I use all of them actually. But when I tried to use Claude, that I don't know whether anybody knows, but there's a new chip manufacturer out. It's called Etched, and so NVIDIA is absolutely the big one in that market at the moment. But Etched is a bunch of Harvard dropouts that have got this amazing funding, venture capitalists, I suppose, and their chip apparently allegedly is much faster than the NVIDIA one as well. So I think there might be some shifting and some competition in that market. So it's going to be quite exciting. That's it, I think.
NVIDIA will probably take them over.
Sorry?
NVIDIA will probably take them over.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's a possibility, but as I say, they're getting quite a lot of funding at the moment. So we'll see. Anyway, yeah, but that's me.
Okay, fantastic. Jane, Dave.
Morning, everyone. I'm Dave Caudle. I'm a career coach. I work with people who are either trying to make their first career choice or who are halfway through their career and hate it or are stressed or are fed up, and help them make a new career choice. In terms of AI, the last week particularly, I've been playing with InVideo, which I think you demonstrated a few weeks ago, David. It's quite interesting. It creates some nice videos. I was doing one on goal setting, just a short thing, and I got it to generate it, and it came up with this wonderful, enthusiastic American voice. And I said, change it to a British voice, and it took all the enthusiasm right out of it. You have a very bland, just change the whole tone. So I'm still playing with that one. How do you get an enthusiastic Brit?
Yeah, you can tweak it. Are you using the mobile app or are you using the computer?
I'm using the desktop at the moment.
Version, yeah. They're both okay. They're both fine. I find it easier on a desktop generally, but
yeah, I must admit I do.
Nicola, tell us about you.
I think everybody in the room knows me already. I'm Nicola Holt. I run Technic Solutions Limited, which is a digital marketing agency. We've been specialising in startups and branching out into software development. But I've been in business for 20 years and have had different, software projects and have been involved in larger contracts. So I've put a team together, and I'm using ChatGPT. I've had to upgrade to the next version because I needed to put charts together. I needed a bit more advanced level of AI into the project that I'm doing at the moment, which is a healthcare project. And that's going to be using algorithms, heuristic algorithms, and AI powered generated gosh, now I'm stuck, because you put together the information, you read it and you're talking it back, but it is using AI powered techniques to draw back information, basically.
Creating your own GPT?
No, it's using something like GPT to actually find information within the healthcare sector, so that answer on a real-time level, answers will be easier for staff. So it's interesting. I think I've used Pi. I've used there's a chart, I can't think of the name of it, but like flow diagrams. There's a really good area where you can just put in the what you want to do, and it draws back this whole flow diagram, which I've used as well. I'll fish out the name of it. So I've Eco Development Operations Limited is the new company for the healthcare software, but it's software development, and it's software development for the UK at the moment. The healthcare project is for the UK, and walking alongside how the NHS was developed. So the NHS is obviously designed medical care for free for everybody. So we're looking at the NHS model. So thank you.
GPTs that sort of query any research paper, sort of medical research, PubMed and all these other big sort of repositories of research papers, and there are GPTs in ChatGPT, which is the paid for version, that will actually query any of those, and you can actually load up, if you can focus down on a particular research document or a set of research documents, and then just ask questions from that. You can query those particular ones. So it's
And David, you query the particular healthcare.
yeah, the piece of research, you know, or it can be anything. They've thought there are sort of repositories for different research and different. They all come up with different conclusions, and there's all sorts of analyses and things in the background. But you can query a particular subject, and it will give you a list of all the publications and all the research sort of related to that. So
I'm going to write this down.
it's I can't remember. I think I mentioned it last week, but I can't. I think it's gone out of my head now. I'll have to look back. I'll look back on the actual name of it, but I'm sure if you just keyed it in, it would come up.
Yeah, sure.
Andy.
Yeah, I'm Andy, and I'm a recovering addict. No, this is the right group. This is the right group. It's now been over 5 weeks since I've used Google for anything meaningful, and I'm using all other sort of AI type. No, seriously, it's over 5 weeks. And what I've been finding quite intriguing is that I look a lot more intelligent when I'm on calls with customers, because we start talking about stuff, and I'll just be in the background working it into ChatGPT or whatever, and just coming out with stuff on the fly. Obviously, check it a little bit first, and they're like, "Wow." I do then confess. I don't then say I am brilliant. I do confess and say that's where it came from, because I'll send them a link to it, and they're like, and it just raises that awareness that there's a different way of thinking about things, and it just strengthens the relationships. I've also been using, we talked about Wisdom Plan a few weeks ago, the thing where you can build your own courses. And I found that quite useful to build courses of things I'm interested in, and to run through those and realize I didn't know quite as much as I thought I did. So it's been illuminating, because we're all learning all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Andy. Yeah, I think it's yeah, I do a similar thing, like sort of while I'm talking on the phone and things, I'm keying stuff in all the time. It's a good tip. Steffi.
Hello everyone, I'm Steffi Lewis, creator of Sploggy.com, the AI blogging revolution, and over 57%, in fact precisely 57% of people in this room are using it. I'm currently taking a break from coding and mulling over what I'm going to do with my next bit of software, Your PCM version 2, which I'm thinking of making international rather than just UK only. I never know. I do get inquiries from abroad, so we shall see. But for the next couple of months, I'm doing sod all. Well, programming wise, I'm doing sod all. I'm still running my business.
Good for you. So you should.
As this morning, I had a client. I've done her. It's a really good looking website, but it's all she wanted was a website. Didn't charge her very much, and then she said, "Oh, it's not listed on Google." So, as a favour, I've listed it on Google for her. But as we all know, if you know anything about SEO, if I listed it on Google yesterday, it's not going to be there this morning, like all fully indexed and everything. Google's aware of it, and it knows which pages, but it hasn't crawled those pages yet. It hasn't, so it hasn't indexed those things. So she wrote me quite a snotty WhatsApp, about, I'm gonna have to get somebody else to look at it because you haven't done it properly, and all the rest of it. And then I keyed in all the facts into ChatGPT and said, "Hey, I've got this client. I've done her a great website. We're really happy with it. I've done everything she asked. As a favor, I've done this, blah, 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 blah." And I put in all the details. I said, "I want to send back a really good diplomatic WhatsApp." And it just comes up with it straight away, I copied it and pasted it, and she backed down immediately and apologized, and everything is good in the world. So it's got a way of thinking. Well, it's not a way of thinking, but it's a way of processing that maybe my brain isn't so good at,
It doesn't just put please before the piss off.
That's right, exactly, yeah. Because that's what you're thinking, and when you're thinking bloody cheat, I mean, it's even if you write it saying I'm going to be diplomatic, it's kind of got a nuance in there, or it's got little barbs that you're not aware of that's that maybe sort of derail that sort of your intention. So I think it's really good for those sort of things, you know. So it's so that was
Wow, AI conflict resolution. There you go.
exactly, yeah, conflict resolution.
Let's get it negotiating in Ukraine.
Yeah.
As ever, you know, the one thing I'm looking for is kind of video creation, and I've been I'm going to do this first because
The holy grail, isn't it?
yeah. There's something Luma Dream Machine is brought out a new version a couple of weeks ago, and people were saying it was good. And I don't. Does anybody follow Matt Wolf on YouTube? He's really good, and he tried it out, and he put in this. The first time he tried it, he just did something simple. He said, I want a monkey on a skateboard. So he waited 7 hours. This is text to video for this thing to come back, and it was a girl's foot on a skateboard. And at the last nanosecond, it changed into a little tiny monkey, and then disappeared. So he thought, oh, that's not very good. So then he was more specific, and then did another one. He had to wait another 7 hours because it was insanely popular because it's supposed to be good. And then all he got was a little tiny square. Was it's encountered an error, and to wait 7 hours to encounter an error is like that. And I have tried a couple of text to videos, and it is not stellar, I've got to admit. But what it is really good at, really good at, is image to video. So if I share, and it is a bit quicker now as well, because they've limited people. You get 30 free generations a month. It's lumalabs.ai/dream-machine, I think it is, but I'll put the link in afterwards. But I'll just share my screen actually.
I'm doing one right now. A teddy bear Terminator on a futuristic battlefield.
Okay.
It says it's in the queue.
Be in the queue all day. Well, it'd be in the queue for at least half an hour.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this is it. So it's just lumalabs.ai/dream-machine, and this is an image that I got from. Where did I download it from? I downloaded that image from Canva. So it was just a square image, and that is more or less the image as it is there. And I just uploaded that image into it, and this is what it did. Don't know if you can see that.
That's clever.
It's actually got the water moving. I mean, it's one of those boats at the bottom of the Niagara Falls, but I mean, it's only 5 seconds, and you've got the watermarks because I'm not paying. But it's I thought that was quite impressive, because so that was, but that last night in the mornings you may find it a bit quicker. At night time, I did it started about 6 o'clock, I think, last night. It took about 3 hours for it to come back, but that one was worth waiting for, sort of.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
Can you download that without any sort of copyright things on it, David?
You can download it. It will have the Luma watermark top right.
All right. Okay.
So what are we looking at? That Luma Labs.
Yes, that's right. lumalabs.ai /dream-machine. But it's and as it progresses, you know, this is only 5 seconds, but I imagine they will extend the times and things like that eventually when they get more processing power, and they're not and they're not so bogged down. But I think that's pretty good. But you'd need you need 12 of those. How many of those would you need for a minute? You need 20 to make 100 seconds. So yeah, it would take. You need to make quite a lot of videos to make one long one, but it would be a good sort of link video, you know. So yeah, so I thought that was pretty good. because I think we're still waiting for Sora and things to happen. But it's
oh, come on, OpenAI! I want to build it into Splogit.
yeah, I know, because it's yeah, because there are others around. You know, there's some are better than others.
My plan is to replace the image inside a blog post with a video.
Yeah.
So the image is still used on social media, but when you actually come into the blog post, you'll see a video playing instead. And I want it to be a looping video.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can do it with like with Canva or something. You can just use one of their stock videos, and then you can just download a JPEG, so that if the website's slow or that there's some other reason, it'll show that JPEG first, and then that video can then load in the background afterwards.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Disable it for mobiles, because Google doesn't like slow shit on on mobiles, as Nicola knows. Doesn't like if you put a video on a header, you're better off replacing it with an image, because
exactly what I do.
Yeah.
I've got a flag that says, "Is this a mobile?" And if it goes yes, it says, "Don't send the video" in the header. So,
because Google wants your website to download in 1 second to get the green light, you know. So it's that's why nearly every video, sorry, it wants your website to download in less than 1 second. So virtually every website, hardly any websites are in the green when you do speed test, because it's such a tough ask, you know. You've got to more or less strip out everything for your video, for that version. Okay. Is there anything anyone wants to show us at all, or want me to crack on? I want to crack on with about creating your own GPTs, because it's before with a share the screen again. Because ChatGPT will do any task that you choose, especially if you're if you're a coder, you can do spectacular things. So I'm not going to do that today, because one, I'd have to get ChatGPT to generate the code for me, and it would be long and boring. But you can key in APIs and everything. But anyway, this is the ChatGPT. I'm going to explore GPTs, and I'm going to write my own. I'm going to write my own GPT to do a particular task. So I'm going to get it to do a web design quote for me. And sometimes, like with builders and things, they have complicated quotes, because it depends on how many. I mean, I saw one yesterday where all he had to do was describe what he was having. It did ask other questions, like how many wooden uprights. Like he was designing a pergola, and he had to price it up for his client. And he actually wrote a GPT that would do for that and any other quotes that he did in the future. So it would work it out. It goes off to the website, to the supplier's website, find out how much the lumber is, and how much the nails are and things like that. Comes back and gives him a quote based on those figures. So I wondered if it would work for my web design. So I was playing around with it yesterday. So if we go top here, we do a create, and I'm going to click on configure, and then I'm going to say web design quote. I've written any of this down. Lost my computer crashed last night, so well, So we need, let's just, my website crashed, my computer crashed this morning, and then it's kind of done funky things with my.
Mine does the same, David. Don't worry about it.
It's anyway. Let's the description. So creates a quote for a WordPress website project and creates a formatted proposal for the potential client. So all I want it to do is ask me a few questions and an email that I can just copy and paste to the client. So in the instructions, first of all, we have to give it a role. So I'm going to give it a role. I'm copying and pasting this from my notes that I made yesterday. So I'm telling ChatGPT what it is. You are a freelance WordPress expert. You respond in a humorous but professional tone. When I give specific details about a web design project, you are to calculate the cost of purchasing the domain, sourcing the hosting, purchasing premium plugins, creating the design, and creating the content. I did refine this a little bit yesterday, but because bear in mind, you can put lots of code in here for it to use Zapier and APIs and things, but and so you can actually do anything you like. But I think I did refine this a little bit yesterday, and I don't want to. But throughout this process, you're going to do 4 processes. I'm giving it 4 processes to do. So the job summary protocol, which is determine the number of brochure pages, determine the number of legal pages, and determine how many pages content is required. So how many pages do I need to create content for? There's an extras protocol, which is determine any third-party resources required and obtain the prices for those. Specifically, a domain name. Do I need to source a domain name? Do I need any premium plugins, or do I need hosting for the website? Then there's a calculation protocol, which is calculate the price of everything from the cost per page and the content. And then the final draft, combine it all into a nice format for an email for the potential client. So those are the things I'm asking it to do. Then you need to define the desired output. You don't have to do this. You can just put it all in English and see what comes out. And because I've done that before, and it does actually. It will give you your. We'll try to do what you want, but you do need to be specific. Sort of when I give specific details about a project, first you need to break it down into a more manageable format. You can enter the format like this: client name, this, that here, job description, this, that here. And there's a job summary protocol. You will need to ask me the number of pages, the number of legal pages, whether hosting is required, what premium plugins are required, and whether we need to source the domain. In which case, ask me the TLD, the top level domain, whether it's a .com or this, that, and the other, .co.uk. So I'm hoping it will go off and find the price of the cost to me of the top level domain. Paste the next bit in. The job summary protocol. No, sorry, the extras protocol. Hosting, if required, is £90 a year. So I'm telling it how much my prices are for these particular things because they're fixed, plus £120 a year if WordPress support is included. Put the WordPress support as an option. If a domain name needs to be sourced, obtain the rate for the relevant TLD from 123reg.co.uk. Stop and ask me for the name and cost of any premium plugins, because obviously that's a variable I can't or I don't want to program in, because I'm making it quite simple. But if there are regular extra plugins you use, you could also add that in as well. And then there's a calculation protocol. Once this is done, work out the cost of pages at a rate of £80 per page plus £50 per legal page. Content creation at £50 per page. Hosting, if required, is £90 a year. I've already said that, but I've said it again now. Put the WordPress support as an option if the domain needs to be sourced. I think I've already said that before, didn't I, in the extras protocol? Yeah. Okay. I'll put this in and it still works. So it's and then the final draft protocol is to create the email.
Have you said to speak in English, UK English?
No, I haven't. No. But I'll see what comes out.
Speaking of someone who's done this and then realised it after I generated the stuff.
Yeah, it's not. You can always copy and paste it back in and say redo this in English.
Yeah.
But it's not so good. So the final draft is create an email, list the client and job description, create a hook extolling the virtues of WordPress, give a paragraph of why process is flexible, can be hosted almost anywhere and easily updated, give a summary with all the costs. Now you can add a lot more into this. So this is what your it says web design. It should be web design. You can upload an image as well up there for your there, and conversation starters. You can have start a quote. It just puts a button in. You can have up to 4 buttons, I believe, above the above this with different instructions. So
David, just recap with this information, you are supplying this information, you're putting in the name, you're putting the description, you're putting in the instructions,
yeah,
and then it will show you.
Yeah. So when the command start project quote, okay, start project quote is said, because it can be used in voice or by typing in or clicking a button. The job summary protocol, process the job summary protocol, helping me through each step of the process, ask me for the project details. So that's it. So yeah, so you can have a different operational command for each conversation starter. I think I should have that.
Where do you get this information from, David? Where do you get the instructions? Where are you gathering that from?
It's just notes I've made from other people that I've seen, you know. So you can just word it in English. You can just write it out in English. It's just a process to make sure you get it right, which I'll probably disprove in a second. But it's just going through this process of doing the protocols means that you can get things in order and make sure everything's included. If you use, you could just write it out in English, but you can be sloppy when you do that, and you can end up with something that you didn't really want. So, so now I'm just going to create this. I'm going to do it for only me to start with. You can release it to everyone else later if you want. You can share that link if you just want to send it to other people. I want to see what it does anyway. I'm going to start project quote. So it's okay. I should have put a break in there. So, but let's say the client is Acne Widgets. Job description. It's a new WordPress website. I'll just put in the numbers. Jobs summary protocol. I'm just going to do. Should I do one? I think I should put in pages, all the legal pages. All pages. Yes, Steve. Word. No premium plugins. Right, I'll see if that works. Six pages, 4 legal pages, content for 4 pages, hosting required. It's gone through without the brakes. I need to put the brakes in there, but it's basically it's gone through. It's telling me I should have told it to stop and for me to check this information. So so I needed to put that into the protocols, is to stop and let me check, but I didn't. But it's got it's come out with a how much these things are. Has it gone to okay, domain name cost for .com is $10.99 a year. So it's it has gone to 123reg and found out the cost of the .com. You can specify that you wanted to add your own, like I would normally add a $5 onto there if I'm registering the domain. So I would normally add that in there as well. But then it comes up with the it's costed it all out anyway, which looks pretty accurate. Hosting is £90. The optional, we don't know if they want optional anyway, but it's saying the total cost without optional support is $980, with support $1,100.
Can you tell me whether you put in a non-refundable policy? Would you put in
if you can put anything you like in the actual within the GPT, you can say add this in, and you can put in criteria for it, you know. So it's let me just stop that there. So it's you can put anything you like within the actual protocols, you know. You can add in any sort of script, any sort of options in there. What I didn't put in there is say stop and ask, because that's stop and let me check, you know, because that's, you can put those in between. But I don't know. I think if you've got tasks that are repetitive or they take a long time, sort of doing sort of website quotes, like I think last week I said I had to produce a web agreement between me and the client saying, you know, about the delivery of a new website. Well, I don't normally do agreements as such because I normally know the people I'm doing stuff for, you know. So, but you can produce them really quickly. All I did was just dump all the information into ChatGPT, and it just came up with this really nice formatted agreement, you know. So you can put other specifications in there. That's like a rough copy. But if you had to spend a couple of hours doing that, it would be worth it, because then every time you run it, it would only take you seconds to run it in the future, you know. So
it's quite good for creating that, but for different personas who are receiving it. So you might have one that goes to people that are a bit more dry, solicitor types, one
yeah,
that goes to different types of people. It just angles it, doesn't it?
yeah. You could even use the same script and just say stop and ask me the persona.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want it to, and just say I'll stop with that. So it's but there are, I've seen really complicated ones where it'll actually it it's collecting email addresses, or it's doing like it's on websites, and it's doing all sorts of things with clever things with Zapier and building databases and doing anything you like, you know. So it's especially if people are running it in an office where they're doing repetitive tasks, and it's a good way of
That's a good point. So how complicated can they go in terms of connecting up with other things?
yeah, there's, I don't know the full story because I only know what I've used it for, but there is all sorts of code you can put in there. You can do APIs and pull in any other data, and send data out. And so there is, I imagine, what I would probably do is look it up on YouTube, and there'll be somebody there that's actually doing that, you know, because it is it's a huge time saver. But there must be like sort of bigger companies using things like this, like sort of big time, big scale, you know. So it's just a time saver, really, isn't it, for us? I mean, it's just something that would go through there. I mean, I don't know. Anybody think they would use? Does anybody do repetitive tasks they think would?
Definitely, I would definitely look at using that. I would definitely look at putting briefs together using those types of protocols. I would definitely, it just makes it easier, doesn't it? You're not having to write out the whole of that, but it gives you the opportunity to ask the right questions, doesn't it? Instead of just having like a text box.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And you don't need to know code to actually create something.
Thinking about Dave, what he does, the different personas, the types of people who need career coaching. You can imagine how that would be really useful.
Yeah, sort of in my head, I'm just running through all the different ways that could be useful in helping people to create career plans and things like that as well. There's things like quotes and agreements and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone the other night at a meeting I was at about it, costing about 20 quid to pay for that version. And they're like, £20, I pay for lots of things already. I was like, you'll save that so quickly.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best 20 quid your monthly pay.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because Nicola, like you said, you've just bought the
Upgrade.
yeah, you just upgrade it, so you do have access. I think you can get 4.0, can't you, if the free version? But I don't think you'd be able to create a GPT with the free version. I think you'd have to have the
Don't think so, no.
paid for version. So it's I mean, I think it's worthwhile because I mean I've played with all of the main ones, and although as large language models, technically there are, like Claude at the moment, it's supposed to be better than ChatGPT, but ChatGPT will release the next version and then suddenly they'll be the king of the hill again. So it's kind of one or the other, but it's things like this that make ChatGPT ahead of some of the others. You can do similar things with other, but I think, to me, sort of OpenAI ChatGPT is definitely the better out of all of them. So it's one I certainly use the most, and yeah. So I think it's worth looking at. And the what's the one we use? Because I wrote I've also written scripts for Perplexity as well. So you can get Perplexity to write blogs and run through scripts, but again, you need the paid for version. But I don't think it's certainly no better than ChatGPT. So
What do they charge for their paid version?
it's the same, but they're all about 20 quid, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're there, but would you pay that? Like, and there was we've seen. I mean, Poe is got quite a good selection of stuff on their paid version. It's like you can get through to you can use almost anything. Have we seen Poe before? I think I've shared it before, but I'll just quickly. This is they've got all these official bots, and some of them have to, a lot of them you have to be a subscription to actually use them. But there's like you can use Stable Diffusion XL for nothing. But there's a new version of Stable Diffusion as well, isn't there? So it's, yeah.
So David, when with Poe, if you subscribe to Poe, do you have access to all the all the AI models within it, or do you pay separately? Does that make sense?
Gemini Pro, you get the Claude Pro, but you are limited to a certain number of queries.
Right. Yeah.
What they are, but they have got a load of. They call them their equivalent of GPT is a bot. So they've got like a whole mass of bots, which look pretty similar to the GPTs. So I think it's and they've got a lot of them. So Poe's quite like Poe, but I've never subscribed to it. They do have a phone app as well, which is quite good. But,
we are starting to see an increase of all singing, all dancing things. Like take CRM systems, for example. Their CRM marketing, everything together, and all the people doing niche little things are starting to get pushed out of the market by these things all in under one thing. And they all does seem to the way it's going, and you can see AI going that way as well. You know, you come up with something you want, you put it into a system, you pay for it, it goes off and it looks at everything else and comes up with the best answer.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think there's an awful lot of AI websites that are trying to charge, again, 20 quid a month, but it's something you maybe get from ChatGPT, you know, so you might as well get there. They seem to be just repackaging stuff that's already there, you know, so it doesn't seem.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
What does everyone favour? What is the favourite one? What is everybody? What's the strongest one on the market?
ChatGPT.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of extras there. I mean, the language model is pretty good anyway, but the other things that come with it are, you know, you've got DALL-E, which is, I've played around with lots and lots of different things, and none of them are perfect by any means. But there is, I think the next level of DALL-E will obviously be better.
DALL-E is the heart of Sora, isn't it?
Yeah. So it is going to get better, but got this other one. Have you heard of Huggingface? You can. There are lots and lots of AI engine stuff. It's just. There's a website called Huggingface.co. Now there are all of this stuff you can download yourself and run it on your own computer if you've got something big enough and fast enough, which most of us are not. So it's but there are hundreds of these, thousands of these spaces where they've got different different sort of AIs. Things were 8,876. Okay, so there's a lot of them. Some of them don't work, but like Stable Diffusion 3 Medium, you got to pay for most places. You know, it's a premium thing, but you can just use it. You can use it for nothing.
What is it though? What are you using? Actual like GPTs? What is it?
It's Huggingface.co. They're like a repository for lots of different AI engines, and they're kind of open source, if you like. But so it's so you can use these different spaces to do whatever that particular AI app does, you know. So Viking ship, I'm going to do an easy one. Viking ship in the sea. I just see.
Do you know, it's
quick. I mean, it normally runs it. It says 11.4 seconds. So I think that's it's a lot quicker than a lot of them. And then just see what it comes up with. But there's that's not a Viking ship.
It's not.
It's more like it's more like a much later. But yeah, it's okay.
Bargain.
So you can go to spaces. They were different. No, I don't even. There's 24,682 different models. You can download these and run them on your own machine. But you know, to be honest, it takes. You have to get your head around it, and is it worth your time? I don't know, because a lot of them don't seem to work. But there's but Huggingface is a bit of a black hole. You can go in there and start playing with stuff, and you think, oh, stable hamster, what's that do?
Bed to click.
It's a version of Stable Diffusion that someone else has, because there's kind of the equivalent of open source. You can create your own model based on that Stable Diffusion.
Can you draw all of these over to I bought the domain name The Content Bank yesterday or the day before, just purely and simply for this, to put everything in one place.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering whether you just have, like, this could be a backlink. It could be a backlink from, you know,
Yeah,
space.
but I mean, it seems all fairly open. It's like an open space, you know. So it's there's no reason. I'm not sure how you would do it off the top of my head, but obviously, it looks possible.
Interesting. You're talking earlier about Luma Labs. I've been playing with it on here. You've got it down to 3 minutes to do a video now.
3 minutes. That's pretty good. Yeah, because the Americans are all in bed, so
it still gets it wrong. It didn't follow the instructions as I put it in there, but
yeah. What was that text?
Yeah, text.
Video, yeah. It's you have to be. I think you have to be a prompt engineer to actually and put in like a 4-line prompt to actually get what it is you're looking for.
But I was really specific. I said, well, I'll show you quickly. I know I can't do it.
It's all right. I'll do it. Go on.
I've done it 3 times now. What I wanted was it to scan across street houses that were all grey, and then go back to one in the middle that was green to highlight that house, just for something I'm doing. And it still does the scanning bit, but it makes them all green.
All right.
I don't quite understand it. There's a few different variations of how it's come out. So I made it really clear, but yeah, still doesn't get it. But I think these things will get better, won't they?
Yeah.
For that different green.
Video of making a video out of a still, you know, seems to be better. You know, I think that's a strong point.
I think what'd be great is when you're using the video or the image generators, if you could then sort of say, yes, use that one as the basis and then refine it in some way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just go off and generate something completely fresh, don't they?
That's what Sora's going to do.
That would be great, won't it? I think everyone's waiting for Sora to come out.
Well, it's in red testing at the moment.
Yeah.
It will appear at some point this year, and then we'll get a DALL-E 4 upgrade to go with it, because DALL-E is used to create the individual frames. So it's consistency is the holy grail. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Definite consistency.
Well, so for example, with DALL-E 4, you know, I might want to upload a passport photo of me and say, turn me into a Jedi on Coruscant, and it will just do it. It will take the shape of my face and eyes and this, that, and the other, and turn me into it. With Sora, so if you want Sora to be a filmmaking tool to replace all the B-roll, then you need to make sure that between videos it is consistent. So if you have a white Land Rover driving up a mountain track filmed from a drone behind it, and then you switch to the next scene to film from the drone in front of it, you've got to have the same Land Rover. And that implies that DALL-E 4 has to have consistency built in, which is what DALL-E 3 doesn't have.
Okay, right. It's 11 o'clock, so thanks for coming along, guys. Always interesting. So it's anyone's got any stuff, just drop me a line. We won't be running next week because me and Cheryl are going to be doing a live one next week, isn't it? Yeah, next Friday. So,
I keep forgetting to advertise first Friday. I am so bad at that.
First Friday is next Friday in Croydon.
Can I just share my screen very quickly? Because I've just done a video of a image generated that I use for a blog post. It's very, very cool. Hang on a minute. Oh, no, where are we? Share that one. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So that was created in Splogit using the image generator, and it's just turned it into a panned video, which is brilliant. Yeah. And that's the sort of thing I want Sora to do, that I can then build into my blog posts.
Yeah.
Is that yogurt that's gone mouldy on the desk there?
Sorry?
Is that yogurt that's gone mouldy on the desk?
What's gone mouldy on the desk?
Yogurt. When it starts to grow hair out of it, fur out of it, when it's gone mouldy.
I know.
I don't like the fact that
somebody gets extra fingers. Things like that.
Her hand's separated, hasn't it, on the mouth?
Yeah. Hands right at the last second.
Yeah. That's very cool, though. I was really impressed.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And before you all disappear, I just remembered I worked with Steffi earlier on in the week and produced my first blog. So it's on LinkedIn. So tell me what you think.
Hey, excellent. Well done, Shirley.
Good
Great,
stuff. Well
Steffi. Yeah. David, as ever, thank you very much. Good luck next week for your live session. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, well done. Yeah. Cheers.